Today, we unravel a theory that contends that the Bible, and by extension God, does not support transgender individuals. This claim, soaked in controversy, has sparked heated debates across the globe, challenging not only societal norms, but also deeply ingrained beliefs. The crux of this theory? Demons are transgender. A bold assertion indeed. It suggests a stark contrast between divine creation and demonic influence. According to this perspective, our physical form, specifically our genitalia, is a testament to God's design and intention. God, the theory proposes, created males and females as distinct entities with clear roles, primarily to reproduce. Any deviation from this binary, the theory argues, is not a personal choice, but a demonic influence. The theory goes further, highlighting the significance of gender in representing God. By choosing to live as God created us, we are upholding His design and ultimately His divine authority. But if we choose to alter our gender, we are succumbing to what the demons desire, making us more like them. However, this theory isn't just about religious beliefs and personal choices. It's also about society and the way it shapes our perceptions and decisions. Recent statistics show a shift in societal roles, with more women pursuing higher education, taking up leadership positions, and men, on the other hand, living at home longer, often dependent on the government. This imbalance, the theory suggests, is leading many women to change their sexual orientation or even their gender. Adding another layer to this complex issue, the theory points to the rising number of single-mom households. The absence of a masculine role model, it claims, is contributing to an increase in gays, transgender individuals, and overall confusion regarding gender identity. As we delve deeper into this theory, we'll explore these arguments in greater detail, referencing both canonical and non-canonical sources to shed light on this controversial issue. In the beginning, God created male and female, a binary designed for reproduction. These were not arbitrary categories, but an intentional design embedded in the fabric of creation. In the book of Genesis, it is written, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female, he created them." This divine binary, male and female, is a fundamental aspect of God's design for humanity. In the Bible, we find numerous references to the importance of this binary. In Matthew, Jesus himself says, "Have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female?" This is a reaffirmation of the divine binary, a testament to the significance of our inherent gender identities in the eyes of God. Yet, a contentious theory arises, suggesting that those who choose to change their gender are not merely exercising personal freedom, but aligning themselves with demonic influences. This theory draws from various non-canonical sources like the Book of Enoch, where it is suggested that demons are genderless entities, and their desire is to lead humanity away from God's design. In the Apocrypha, another non-canonical book, it is written that demons seek to corrupt and lead astray the spirit of mankind. Could it be, then, that choosing to abandon the divine binary of male and female is a step towards this corruption? This is not a condemnation of individuals, but an exploration of a theory, a provocative question that seeks to probe the boundaries of our understanding. It challenges us to consider the implications of our choices, not just on a personal level, but in the larger context of our spiritual well-being. The choice to change one's gender is deeply personal and complex, and it's not our place to judge. But from the perspective of this theory, it's seen as a movement away from the divine binary, a shift towards a reality that aligns more with the desires of the demonic than with God's design. But what happens when society begins to shift away from this divine binary? Modern men, statistically, are shying away from traditional roles. This statement, although controversial, is backed by numbers. A growing number of men are stepping back from the societal expectations of being the breadwinners, the providers, and the figureheads of their families. Instead, they are embracing a life of lesser responsibility, choosing not to marry, opting out of fatherhood, and relying more on government support. Let's take a look at marriage, for instance. Today, fewer men are saying "I do" compared to their counterparts from previous generations. According to a Pew Research Center study, The share of men who have never been married is at an all-time high, and it's not just the younger generation. Men in their 30s and 40s are part of this trend too, reflecting a shift in societal attitudes towards commitment and family life. When it comes to work, the story is similar. Men, once the dominant force in the labor market, are now trailing behind. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that women now make up more than half of the workforce, a stark contrast to the past. And it's not just about numbers. Women are also leading the way in terms of job satisfaction and career advancement, now to fatherhood. The joy of raising a child, once considered a rite of passage for many men, is now viewed by some as an optional extra rather than a fundamental part of life. Census data reveals that a growing number of men are choosing not to have children, a trend that has serious implications for future generations. So, where does this leave men? Increasingly, they are turning to government support. Welfare programs, once the safety net for the most vulnerable, are now being accessed by a broader demographic, including men who are capable of working but choose not to. What does this shift mean for the women of today? Well, as men retreat from their traditional roles, it is women who are stepping up, taking on the mantle of provider and protector. But this shift is not without its challenges. As men retreat, women are stepping up, taking the lead in education, careers, and independence. The scales of society are shifting, and the women of the world are rising to meet the challenge. They're stepping into classrooms and boardrooms, breaking glass ceilings and shattering gender norms. Women are now more likely than men to gain a college degree, and increasingly, they're the ones occupying leadership roles. They're becoming the providers and the protectors, the role models and the revolutionaries. But this rise in women's prominence isn't without its challenges. As women climb the ladder of success, they look around and find that the pool of potential partners who match their ambition and achievements is shrinking. Men, it seems, are lagging behind, and it's leaving successful women in a predicament. This imbalance has consequences. For some women, the lack of suitable male partners is leading them to seek companionship and connection with other women. Lesbian relationships are becoming more prevalent, a symptom of this societal shift. But it's not just about sexual orientation. It's also about gender identity. In a world where traditional gender roles are being redefined, more women are finding themselves identifying more with masculinity than femininity. They're questioning their gender identity, exploring their self-perception, and some are making the decision to transition. The rise in transgender men is a reflection of this, a sign of the times. This isn't a choice made lightly, nor is it a trend or a fad. It's a deeply personal journey, born out of a need for authenticity and self-expression. It's a testament to the resilience and adaptability of women, their ability to navigate an ever-changing landscape and emerge stronger, more self-assured. But what does this mean for the future? How will this upheaval of traditional gender roles affect the next generation? What kind of world are we creating for the boys growing up in this era of change? And what of the next generation, the boys being raised in this changing landscape? We'll explore this in the next scene. More boys are being raised by single mothers, a result of the issues plaguing modern men. This is the reality we live in, a paradigm that shifted significantly over the years. The implications of this shift are profound and far-reaching, influencing not just individuals, but the very fabric of our communities. Let's delve deeper into this phenomenon. A boy growing up without a father or a male role model is like a ship without a compass. It's not that he can't find his way, but the journey becomes much more challenging. You see, the presence of a father figure plays a vital role in a child's development. It provides a sense of security, a model for behavior, and a blueprint for their understanding of masculinity. But what happens when this blueprint is missing? Confusion sets in. Boys start questioning their gender identity and sexual orientation. They grapple with understanding what it means to be a man in a society that's constantly redefining gender roles. This confusion, some argue, may lead to an increase in homosexuality and transgender identities. When these boys become men, they often struggle to form meaningful relationships. They grapple with their roles in society and in their personal lives. Many of them become reliant on the state, perpetuating the cycle of dependency and single motherhood. The rise of the single mom phenomenon is not only a symptom of the issues facing modern men, but it's also a contributing factor. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that's reshaping our society and redefining traditional gender roles. This shift in our society has far-reaching implications. It's not just about individual choices or personal identities. It's about the very foundation of our communities, our understanding of masculinity and femininity, and our societal norms. As we can see, the societal shift is impacting not just individuals, but the fabric of our communities. The single mom phenomenon, whether we acknowledge it or not, is a significant part of this shift. And it's time we started paying attention to its implications. This societal shift is not without its implications. The world as we know it is spinning on an axis of change, and as we delve deeper into the implications of this shift, we find ourselves facing a future that is far from what we've known. Consider the disruption of traditional gender roles. For centuries, society has functioned on the understanding of men and women occupying distinct spaces, each with prescribed roles and responsibilities. But today, as we see more women excelling in areas traditionally dominated by men, and men taking on roles previously considered feminine, we find ourselves in a state of flux. The lines that once defined us are blurring, and the consequences of this are vast and varied. But perhaps the most profound implication of this shift is the potential increase in transgender individuals. As societal norms and expectations evolve, more people might feel empowered to explore their gender identity. This, in turn, could lead to a rise in the number of individuals who identify as transgender. But what does this mean for society? For one, it challenges our understanding of what it means to be male or female. It opens up a dialogue about identity and self-expression that pushes us to reconsider long-held beliefs. It also forces us to confront biases and prejudices that have been ingrained in us, prompting a re-evaluation of societal norms and values. Moreover, this shift has the potential to affect institutions like marriage and family. If more people identify as transgender, how does this change the dynamics of these institutions? What happens when the traditional family structure is upended? These are not easy questions, but they are ones we must grapple with as we navigate this new landscape. Finally, this shift could have significant implications for mental health. The journey of exploring and expressing one's gender identity can be fraught with challenges. As a society, we need to ensure the necessary support systems are in place to help individuals on this journey. As we grapple with these changes, it's clear that the conversation around gender and sexuality is far from over. We've traversed a contentious terrain, exploring a theory that blends religion, society, and personal identity. We've journeyed through the biblical view of gender as a divine binary, the notion that our biological sex is not only a physical reality, but a spiritual one. We've delved into the concept that any deviation from this binary, including transgender identities, is influenced by demonic forces. We've looked at the modern male dilemma, the statistical decline in traditional masculine roles. Men are increasingly eschewing marriage, fatherhood, and work, resulting in a dependence on the state. We've considered how this shift might be impacting the balance between men and women in society. We've also explored the rise of the independent woman. Women are statistically more likely to attend college, hold better jobs, and assume leadership positions. Men, on the other hand, are living at home longer. This shift has led to a growing number of women unable to find a suitable partner, leading some to become lesbians or even transition to become men. The single mom phenomenon was another focal point of our exploration. With more men being raised by single mothers and without a masculine role model, we've questioned whether this could be contributing to an increase in gay and transgender identities, as well as general confusion about gender roles. Throughout this exploration, we've referenced both biblical and non-biblical sources, including societal statistics and academic research. We've delved into the implications of these societal changes and how they might be influencing perceptions of gender and sexuality. In the midst of this controversy, one thing remains certain. The dialogue about gender, sexuality, and divine design is as necessary as it is complex. As we continue to navigate these uncharted waters, let us foster an environment of understanding, respect, and open-mindedness. For it is only through dialogue that we can truly understand the complexities of our world.